With Epiphany comes the question, where does one look for God? Well, two different ways of addressing this question are explored in this week's material, both focusing on the surprising, sometimes shocking nature of God's presence in the world. We begin with a story from a collection of the lives of saints, the saints of Islam, which concerns a king of Balkh, now in northern Afghanistan, named Ibrahim ibn Adham. Ibrahim was wealthy according to every earthly measure. At the same time, however, he sincerely and restlessly strove to be wealthy spiritually as well. One night, the king was aroused from sleep by a fearful stomping on the roof above his bed. Alarmed, he shouted, "Who's there?" "A friend," came the reply from the roof. "I've lost my camel." Perturbed by such stupidity, Abraham screamed, "You fool, are you looking for a camel on the roof?" "You fool," the voice from the roof answered, "are you looking for God in silk clothing and lying in a golden bed?" The story goes on, according to a Jesuit theologian named Walter Burkhardt, to tell how these simple words filled the king with such terror that he rose from his sleep to become a most remarkable saint of Islam. The camel on the roof raises the Epiphany question, where are you looking for God? This question of life properly stands at the beginning of a new year, just as where have you found God? Nicely serves as a question to cap a year's closing. Each one of our texts raises the camel on the roof question in one form or another. Each text is a camel on the roof reminder that God is not to be found where the world's princes and powers reside. Each text calls us to be like the king's friend, willing to make a fool of ourselves, asking the camel on the roof question to a world busy seeking God in all the wrong places, willing to rouse the world with the message of arise, shine, for your light has come. There's another Arabic story of 17 camels that tells of a Mohammedan who died and left his 17 camels to be divided among his 3 sons. One was to receive 1/9, one was to get 1/2, and a third son was to inherit 1/3 of the camels. 17 camels, however, aren't evenly divisible by 3. Hence, the 3 sons argued long and loud about what to do. So in desperation, they agreed to let a certain wise man decide for them. He was seated in the front of his tent with his own camel staked out back. After hearing the case, the wise man took his own camel and added it to the other 17 camels. Then he took 1/9 of the 18, or 2 camels. To another he gave 1/2, or 9 camels. To the third he gave 1/3, or 6 camels. But on top of that, he still had his own camel left. How'd that work out? You figure that one out. Many of us try to find God and solve problems of life by logical, calculating schemes that ensure we receive our share. But God is to be found in receiving, not grasping, in giving, not claiming our rights. All these texts are emphatic. God's ministers and prime ministers, the friends and fools of the world, have a light to shine in the darkness, an illumination from God that can raise the roof of the world's kings and princes, presidents and prime ministers. As we turn over a new year, one thing is for sure. More and more people are trying to find a way to God by climbing the ladders of success and power and respectability. In these one quarter of the 20th century, the pursuit of money and power has become one of the most powerful mystery religions ever to show its face in the history of humanity. This makes it all the more imperative that the Epiphany news is that God is found in incarnation, in the humility of birth in a stable. As startling as a camel on the roof is, the Christian message that the vulnerability of a life of homelessness and the suffering of death on a cross are heralded as marks of God's most powerful work in human life. All these texts remind us that light has come upon the little ones to share with the learned a light more brilliant than the pillar of cloud by day or the pillar of fire by night, more brilliant than the 1,000 points of light shining in the darkness. Christians are called to offer a ministry of light and a message of illumination to those in power. In the words of theologian Carl Henry, the divine mandate is to beam light, sprinkle salt, knead leaven into an otherwise hopeless world. And what is this message? Arise, shine, for your light has come. From what direction does it come? Not from economics or the wealth of nations, regardless of Alexander Pope's 1738 update on Homer's original maxim, which is get place and wealth, if possible, with grace. If not, by any means, get wealth and place. Not from education or the wisdom of the world, not from science or technology, not from Star Wars notions or war star nations. The Magi point us to where the world's best hope, the world's only salvation, comes bowing before the Christ who is found and served in places that stink and where no one loves. St. Teresa's definition of hell: in places that stink and where no one loves. It describes equally well the world of America's great cities and the world maybe of the Smoky Mountains, not simply the beautiful Smoky Mountains of Tennessee, but the Smoky Mountains of Manila, where thousands of people live, dine, and die on the smoldering, stinking garbage dumps of the city. Amen.